Yo, what's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another review of The Shaad. This is season 5, episode 9, entitled Looking for a New Thing. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment if you choose to. If not, just sit back and let's get into this thing. So first of all, let me just start this review off by saying Fatima is irritating the hell out of me. I really don't like her with Victor. I don't like them together. I don't see it. I just don't want it to happen at all. So, I mean, not even in the least bit. So the scene opens up and the first words out of her mouth, "I'm not a fetish." I'm like, girl, shut up. At this point, shut up. She also told Victor that she wasn't going to be a secret, and that's exactly what she has allowed herself to become. I have no compassion, nor do I have sympathy for Fatima. However, I'm glad she called Victor out on his BS. She gets an alert on her phone and he tries to insinuate that it's someone she's seeing. Then he states, "You want me to come clean for you, but you can't be loyal to me." Sir, what? Why should she be loyal to him? He's not her man, and they are not in a committed relationship. Now, when it comes to the Shaad trivia, I wouldn't win by a long shot, okay? I wouldn't. However, when Victor was with Imani, I remember their relationship being out in the open. He wasn't hiding the fact that he was with a trans woman. So I don't understand the narrative of being secretive with Fatima, other than the fact that he's in a fake relationship with Sierra, for the sake of politics. So Fatima tells Victor to get out of her house. And I guess old boy wasn't moving fast enough for her. Fatima let that bass come out quickly. "Get out of my house." I said, oh, damn. I was like, Victor, you better get the hell out, bro. Just go, because Fatima is no longer talking like this. She got that bass in her voice, dog. So you just better go on and get the hell out of Dodge. That, I was like, what just happened? I had to rewind that part, like go back to that part, because I was like, dang, okay, whatever floats your boat, Fatima, whatever. So we get to Emmitt and Keisha, and they are out on a run, which is good because we haven't seen Keisha run in a long time. They take a seat on a bench, and Emmitt begins to prep himself to tell her about Tiffany trying to have sex with him. He tells Keisha that what he has to say is messy. And I just want to say the choice of wording that the writers used for Keisha to, to say in that moment was so necessary, at least in my opinion. She says, "Come on, Emmitt, please don't disappoint me. Not hurt me, but disappoint me." And I believe that Keisha trusts Emmitt more than anyone else who exists in her world. And Keisha being able to trust anyone is huge, because we all know what baby girl has gone through, which is why I believe she was extremely hurt by Tiffany's actions, because she trusts Tiffany. And so Emmitt and Keisha being together may seem wrong or foul in Tiffany's eyes, but their actions were not malicious in any way. Tiffany set out to be malicious, hurtful, and dishonest. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like Keisha has an issue there. And and so when her and Emmitt return home, Keisha does have an attitude, and Emmitt picks up on it. And she asks him, why didn't he say something sooner? Which Darnell told him to be honest with Keisha from the very beginning. And he tells her that he didn't want her to be mad at him or Tiffany. And this is one of my many issues with people. Like, don't assume you know how I'm going to respond to something, and don't decide for me. Don't make a decision for me. Let me do that myself. Even though it ends up being, a cute scene. Emmitt asks if he's in trouble, and Keisha tells him no. But also addresses the fact that she doesn't want him to be afraid to tell her things, and in return she'll tell him things. And he assures her that she's the only person that he wants to be with. So we get to Nina, Dre, and Kevin. So Nina is putting up Kevin's clothes. She notices that his shoes, clothing, and video equipment are more expensive, are more on the expensive side. And it's obvious that she nor Dre has purchased them. So she opens his drawer and she notices the 3 knots of cash. And so she goes to Dre and instantly says that she knows Kevin is selling drugs. Now, I'm going to just say, for me, Nina has always been a questionable parental figure. It's clear that she doesn't know Kevin's likes or interests, yet she immediately goes to drug dealing. I'm not really a fan of Nina when it comes to her mothering. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Kevin. It's always been a miss for me. So Dre tells her not to jump to conclusions, but it's a little too late. She's already made up her mind about what Kevin is doing to get this money. So they confront Kevin, and I'm saying confront because it's not a peaceful approach. It's not a peaceful situation. It's already tense, and you can tell. And so Kevin tells them that he's not selling drugs. He got the money from gaming. Nina doesn't believe him. Even Dre is looking at him with the side eye, and she's normally the more sensible parental figure. I can understand if they have some doubts about it, but it's like, it's Kevin. Do you really think he's selling drugs and to be able to make that type of money? Again, it's Kevin. So I'm saying, so they tell him that they'll buy tickets to his next competition, but he doesn't want them there. You know, he feels like he's found something for himself and he wants to keep it for himself. And so he's told to go to his room by his mom, and he leaves one of the knots of money on the table and says, "You're welcome." Now, if Nina's ass was so concerned with her son selling drugs, she damn sure didn't try to give him that money back. Okay, she wasn't rushing. No, Kevin, take it. No, we don't want this drug money in this house. She didn't say that. So Darnell and Jada, I love me some Darnell. Okay, I don't care. I love me some Darnell. So he wants a big wedding. You know, he tells her that he's been waiting his whole life to marry her. And he wants it to be like 200 people. He wants them to have like steak and lobster. Like he want to go out, big shebang type of thing. While Jada wants something small and intimate. And Darnell was like, that sounds boring as hell. I hollered because it's just the way that he said it. Like he reminds me of like one of my uncles where they're funny without trying to be funny. They just are. They just old, stuck in their ways, and just them, you know. And I think that's why what I love most about his character. So they decided to get married in someone's backyard. You know what I'm saying? They decided to have a small wedding. So later on in the episode, we see Darnell. He gives Jada a check for the Rock Center, which was going to be his tux money, but since he's not using it on his tux, he wanted it to be used for a greater good. And, you know, he lets her know that as he walked down the aisle, that Bluetooth is going to be there with him. And I wouldn't have it any other way. The Bluetooth is a character within itself, and I just love it. Like that's all the scenes they had this episode, but I love them. So we get to Papa and Jake. So Papa stops by Jake's house, and he stopped by his house, and it's just, I'll get to that. Jake is mad because Papa is hanging with Bakari. He asks how Gemma is doing, and Jake's response is, "How do you think?" And so Papa tells Jake that Bakari wants to apologize, and Jake tells him basically to F himself along with Bakari. And Papa was fed. Now, I don't agree that Jake should be talking to him like that. However, I do understand why Jake is upset. And so Papa was fed up, and he told Jake, "F you too." And so Jake is in his feelings because he believes Papa shouldn't be friends with Bakari. Basically, if he has a problem with someone, then Papa should have a problem with them too. I do not live by that creed. I'm not that friend. Just because you have an issue with someone, I'm not going to have an issue with them. I don't believe that has any, thing to do with my loyalty to my friend. I just don't rock like that. So I can understand Papa from that perspective. And so Papa was hurt because Jake didn't tell him that Gemma was pregnant, but he told Kevin. And Papa tells him that he is not their sidekick and no one has been there for him except Bakari, because Jake and Kevin have been wrapped up in their own lives and their girlfriends. Now, I do understand the point that Papa was making, but it wasn't really shown to us what he has been going through this season. So it was just hard for me to have compassion. It really was. And then Papa has been coming out of his mouth crazy. Then he uses Christianity as his justifier. I'm a child of God as his justifier. And that's the one thing I do not like about his character. I just really don't. So it's like, what he been going through, nobody been there for me. And it's like, bro, what you been going through? What have you been dealing with? Not saying he hasn't, but the show has not shown us any of his struggles this season, other than the fact he just coming out the mouth that people was riding him. And I thought it was, it was warranted. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand what he's so mad about, but I digress. So one thing I do understand, it also demonstrates what happens as we get older and our dynamics change with our friends. And I deal with that all the time. Like, I still have some of the same friends I had when I was 13 years old. And I remember, like, some of the things we used to do. We would watch Moesha, and then after Moesha go off, we would call each other like on 3-way, 4-way, talk about the episode, then go to school and talk about it the next day. And then as you get older, things that used to matter don't matter as much. Like, I can't talk to my friends every day. Their kids, marriages, relationships, businesses, jobs. It's all kind of things that are going on that hinders, the nucleus that used to be is not like that anymore. And I think Papa may be having a hard time because Jake and Kevin are in a relationship and he's not. And when he was with Maisha, he devoted time to her as well, but he's single. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's probably playing a role or playing on his mind too. I don't know, but that's just how I feel about it. It's just hard for me to have sympathy for the brother. And so, but I do understand that it's a real sentiment, and I think many of us have experienced that. So later, Jake goes over to Papa's to be on his podcast, and they talk about their friendship. Papa tells Jake that he wants him to tell him how he feels. Again, in my opinion, Papa has not presented himself as someone Jake probably will feel vulnerable with or comfortable with to share personal things. Papa has a way of being hella judgmental, yet at times using his friends' narratives or his friends' hurts or misfortunes for his own selfish gain. Everything is not podcast worthy. Some things are just things we need to discuss as friends. And so again, I don't know. I just don't have sympathy for Papa. I like Papa. I really do. He's one of my favorites, but I just don't have sympathy when it comes to this situation. And so he asked Jake if he settled things with Bakari, and Jake lets him know that he's not talking about that on the podcast. And again, I just want to know exactly what Papa is going through, has been going through, that he felt so neglected by Jake and Kevin. So we get to Duda and Knuck. Real short story, but long story short, we find out that Q has a gambling problem, and Knuck tells Duda that he needs to kill Q and take over things. Side note, Knuck is fine as hell, but he's just a trash ass character. So Tiffany and Rob. Rob is bringing Tiffany breakfast in bed. He has a smile on his face. He looks all love stricken, and this girl blurts out, "I tried to F Emmitt." My response was just like Rob's. I was like, damn, Tiff. No good morning. How are you? Nothing. But I mean, at least she told him. Then she says, I didn't go through with it. I was so glad Rob asked her, "You stopped?" or because he said no. And she told the truth, but brought up the fact that she doesn't love Emmitt. And Rob is a smart guy, so he asked, like, was it a power play on her part? And she was like, maybe, which he felt was still messed up because Keisha is her girl. Then the selfishness that we have seen throughout this entire season just comes out. And Tiffany says, what about me? I feel like no one cares about my feelings. And I'm like, it's the audacity for me, God. It's the audacity for me. Like, the audacity of her saying that to a man that she was more than ready and willing to cheat on. And so Rob tells her he cares about her feelings, just don't be careless with his. And so he tells her next time she needs to talk to Emmitt, use her words, not her body. And she's curious how he's able to say so calm, me too. Something ain't right. Rob smokes too much weed. I understand he gives a story about how he grew up in a household where there was a lot of yelling, but it resolved nothing. It solved nothing. And I understand that. I grew up in a household not where there was yelling a lot, but my mom and my two younger siblings' father argued a lot. Like, it irritated me. So I'm like, I don't ever, like, anybody who has dealt with me on a romantic level arguing, we're not going to do that. Like, if it comes to that, we just got to part ways, because that's just one thing I'm not going to do. But I'm like, yo, Rob, a lot of people was like, I love the way Rob handled it. I don't know about that. I don't know if I feel that way. I just feel like he's just too damn calm for me. Not that I want him putting his hands on this girl, but it's like, it's okay to not yell, but I do want to know how things affect you emotionally. Like, I need to know that. And Rob is too calm. Like, I don't want to be with someone where nothing phases them. I don't want to be with someone like that. So, that's how that pretty much ended or whatever. But he was like, he just learned to really assess situations and listen to what people are trying to say. So we get to Shaad and Sierra. I love Sierra. That is my type of girl, in the sense of I love the fact that she ain't out here being stuck on stupid with these men. So baby girl understands her role and she plays it accordingly. So Shaad tells her that what they shared was electric, but it can never happen again. And Sierra tells him that she didn't plan on it happening again. And I laughed because I just thought that was so funny. Like, he automatically thought, oh yeah, like he must have put it on her so well that she gonna want seconds. No, she don't. So it's obvious that he has never met a woman like her, and he expected her to be heartbroken. And so he asked if she cared about him, and her reply was, I think you're nice. I said, damn, cold-blooded. And so then he asked if she loves Victor, which I don't understand that question. I don't know why Shaad asked her that when he already knows the deal between her and Victor. And so she lets him know that Victor is an opportunity. And Shaad brings up the fact that she messes with Rosalind. And she says sometimes, like, and I'm not ashamed of that. And so you could tell he was curious about her. So he asked what her deal was. And sis said that she likes nice things and will do what needs to be done in order to obtain them. I can't hate on Sierra. I can't hate on Sierra because Sierra is like, this is what it is. This is no show. I want what I want and I know what to do to get it. And I like her because there's no pretense. It just is what it is. And so we get to Tracy and Duda. And so she's concerned because Duda tells her his plan to kill Q, which, she was like, that's my son's father. He was like, well, your son is no longer here. And I was like, wow, I mean, that's true, but damn. Okay. And so, his thing is, he's going to kill Q. He's going to have Knuck be his ears and eyes on the street. And then he's going to make Victor a councilman. So her concern is that he's starting to sound like his old self. And Duda tells her that just might be who he is. And she's telling him that, you don't have to be that. This man said if Victor is the light, then he has to manage the darkness. I said that said a lot. That was a powerful line right there. It just made me think like the beast has awakened. I was like, damn, to everybody who comes in his way of what he's trying to do. Whew. So we get to Emmitt and Keisha, and they're at an art exhibit that is being held by Deja. And so Master Marshawn recommended it. And so Deja is somewhat encouraging them to start an art collection. They come across a piece that catches Keisha's attention. And you can tell that Emmitt wishes he could buy it for her, but they can't afford it. And so he tells her that Smokey's is doing really good. And with Keisha, she was basically saying that all of her money is going toward her schooling. And so she has Emmitt promise that it won't be like that for them always. And he does. And I just, I thought it was a good look for them. I'm loving how the trajectory of their relationship is going, just them as individuals and them as a collective, as a unit. And so I was like, yeah, I really, really would love to see their dynamic continue to build and really just be like a great couple, an example of a beautiful couple that has gone through trials and tribulations and have found themselves together again. And they're doing the work to be great. I really just want to see that. So Duda is having a meeting concerning his investments, and he's been told that the pizza places are keeping him afloat, but he needs other food chains to add to his portfolio. And Smokey comes up in conversation as a great business to invest in. So we're going to see what happens with that. Will Emmitt allow Duda to invest in his business knowing what he knows about him? So this should be interesting because it is a way for Emmitt to gain some money. You know what I'm saying? Just don't know if he's, willing to do that. So we get Gemma, Kevin, Jake, and Maisha. They all chilling at Jake's house, and there's a knock on the door, and no one is in a rush to get it. Maisha tells Jake to get the door because it's his damn house. And so Gemma gets up, she gets it, and then she's shocked to see Bakari on the other end. And so she was like, oh, shit. So that was alarming to Jake, and so he asked if she was all right. She says yes, and then she invites Bakari in. Everyone is shocked that he's there, and so Jake tells him that he needs to leave, but Gemma is like, he can stay. And so Jake was like, this ain't your house. And so she was like, Jake. Like, she said his name in a way that he knew he was gonna allow Bakari to stay. And so Bakari apologizes, and it's obvious that being sentimental or sympathetic doesn't come natural for him. And so Gemma tells him that it wasn't his fault and that she appreciates him coming over because she knows that it wasn't easy for him. She then gives him a hug, and he was showing an array of emotions on his face. I think he was grateful that she accepted his apology, yet shocked that she hugged him. And I started to think, like, dang, when was the last time somebody actually hugged Bakari or showed him any type of affection? Not in a romantic way. I saw the stuff people were saying about Gemma, like, don't try to mess with Bakari, which was funny because I understood where people was coming from. But I think that's what she needed. Like, she wasn't trying to hold on to anything, like, to truly move on with her life in that moment in her life. And you could just tell he didn't know, like, what to do. Like, he just left, you know, and Jake is not in a place that he's willing to accept his apology, but hopefully he gets there soon. And so this scene was so funny. Master Marshawn and Emmitt, they finally meet each other at Smokey's, and Emmitt is being such a fan. He tells him that his food is on the house, but just like I stated in one of my earlier reviews, we find out that Master Marshawn is a fraud. He's a damn fraud. His girl comes in and blows his cover on celibacy, amongst other things. I think it stated he lives with his mom. He was definitely driving his mom's car. The look on Emmitt's face was pure comedy. It was the look of shattered dreams. That baby was hurt. Emmitt was like, "You out here effing?" He was like, "That's your woman?" It was hilarious. And he was like, "Look, basically, he created the personality to get friends. Like, he has this huge community, and that's just what it is." And so Emmitt tells him that one of the combo meals would be on the house because he did help him get his woman. So Lenae and Bakari, they cute or whatever, but he goes to see her. He climbs through the window. He brings some sunflower seeds and lemonade. And so Lenae asks if he apologized just to come over, and he tells her that he apologized because he wanted to. And so he tells her that he's not a monster after she lets him know that she knows he killed someone. And Lenae brings up the fact that her brother isn't a monster either, even though he killed someone too. And so she tells Bakari that she feels like he just didn't have anyone. And he says he still doesn't have anyone. And she lets him know that you got me, and he let her know you got me too. Now, after he tells Lenae that he doesn't have anyone, it makes me wonder if he views Papa in the same light that Papa views him, because Papa told Jake that Bakari has been there for him, and you know, Papa has provided shelter amongst other things, and Bakari still feels like he has no one. And so Lenae tells him that, you know, if he has such a crazy story, that he should write his story. He should write a book, and lets him know that if Kevin can make money playing video games, he can write a book. Then they share a kiss. I like Bakari, but not for Lenae. I feel like he's done too much, and karma isn't too far from making its presence into his life. Like, I think he's a good dude, misguided, doesn't have, you know, any parental guidance or anything like that. And because of that, you know, he's lived this crazy life, but it's like, it doesn't, I don't know, like, it just doesn't negate anything that he's done. And so we see Kevin, and he asks Simone to hide his cash for him at her house. She does, but lets him know that if her grandmother finds it, she tell him. Basically, I ain't finna get in trouble because of you, bro. And then she says, "You know how many crystals I can get with this?" And Kevin was like, "Don't get any ideas." I'm like, I don't know, bro. I think you could have left that money at your house. To me, it wasn't that deep for him to have his stash at her house. That's just me. Like, you could have got a safe or something. You know what I'm saying? So Tiff is weighing her weed when she gets a call from who? Dante's ass, looking all good with his nosy self, talking about that background look different. You single? And so she lets him know that she's living with somebody. And it's always them toxic ones that show up when things are in a good place in your relationship. It's like they can smell you being happy. They can smell things are going well. Then they want to show up with their toxic love and their toxic sex. Like, that's what they always do. It never fails. And so I think he was calling for something else, but he tells her that he wants some weed. And so Rob gets in the frame and was like, "What's up?" And so Dante was like, "Man, you like, what you like, 6'8"? He was like 6'9", shorty. Rob is just so damn relaxed. He need to lay that weed down just for a couple of days, bro. So Shaad and Victor. Shaad was about to confess when he thought Victor was tripping over him and Sierra, but Victor doesn't know. And so Victor says that he believes Fatima is his soulmate. That is laughable and unbelievable. Like, how? What has she done so well other than sex you that you believe this woman is your soulmate? She ain't did nothing but nag ever since we seen her pop up on our screen. I don't see it. Anyway, Shaad tells him that if he feels that way, then he should be with her. And so Victor is concerned with throwing everything away that they worked for. And so I did like what Shaad told him. And Shaad tells him that he'd rather him tell the truth and lose than to lie and win. And I could respect that. So Bakari runs into Shaad, letting him know that he knows what he wants to do, which is to write a book about his life. And Shaad like, you only 16 years old. He like, yeah, but I done seen a lot. I've been through a lot. And so Shaad tells Bakari that he's going to start selling vintage items. This boy didn't even know what a CD was. That made me feel old as hell. But he was like, he's going to start selling vintage items, and they both agreed to support each other, which I thought was a cute scene. It's eerie though, because I don't know if Bakari going to make it to season 6. And so Duda, Lord. Now, of all the ways I figured Q would die, I didn't think it would be like this. There was no suspense. There was no calculated plan. Duda showed up at this man's house and shot him twice. And that was that. I'm like, what? That's how we gonna have Q die? That's how we gonna have Q exit? He was brought back to die like that? It wasn't no fight. It wasn't no, we both grabbing for the gun and we finna see which one is the lucky one who gets the gun first. And it was none of that. I didn't like Q, but I wanted him to have a better death than that. I was disappointed. I ain't gonna lie. I was shocked that Duda did it like that. And you know what I'm saying? I really was. Like, he didn't even check to see if anybody was in the house. Like, he walked halfway in and that was it. I said, Duda, I just expected him to be a little bit more pristine in his killing. Like, the Duda I know, he wouldn't have did it like that. I was disappointed in that death, but you know what I'm saying? We can't always get what we want. But that was the shot. I did love the episode. I thought it was really good. So next week is the season finale of season 5. I cannot believe it ended so quickly. I'm definitely going to miss this show when it's on hiatus, but at least we got renewed for season 6, and that's a great thing. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. I will holler at y'all later. When?